All right, this is the trap and roll escape. This is a self-defense move. The guy's going for a choke here. First thing you're gonna do, control the wrist, control the arm, bring it close. Coming here, hooking this leg. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna upa this way over this shoulder, using this, holding, up, posture staying up.
Okay, I'm going to show two Americanas, or key locks, they would call them. So you see I'm controlling here, and I have my both elbows into the ground, my knees are secure, closing up the space. First thing that I can do is I'm going to control this arm and I'm going to hug. Then I'm going to do is I'm going to answer the phone. Once I answer the phone, his natural reaction is to bring this hand in front of my face, which I'm going to grab, and then I'm going to bar, bring it in close.
Alright, so here's a key lock or Americana number 2, where you're in mount position. Going to control the wrist and elbow and bring it down to the ground. So my elbow is here, close to the, putting pressure on the neck. This hand comes under, from here, I'm going to bring it close here. And then, aside from just pulling up, I'm going to take my hands and kind of, what I do, reverse motorcycle throttle. At the same time that I bring the arm up. Okay. Okay, so one of the requirements is knowing positional mount control. So we know that this is mount position here, but what does it mean to control here? So what we mean by that is being able to use the pinching, of course, the knees to control the hips, being able to control up, higher. Also, the use of grapevines, and of course, of posting. So what we want to show is how you're able to control the opponent. So as Jake's trying to move around and trying to pop out, and I'm just basically controlling. Staying on the mount, and then eventually working for technique. I'm going to show a couple of ways to take back from guard whenever you're being judged, I guess, or to see the requirements that need to be met of being able to take the back. It's basically be able to see how you control it or get to the back from various angles, no matter where you're rolling from. So it's just some of the basics that we do here. Is the opponent comes down like this, will of course come under. This way, clear the shoulder, head behind the shoulder. As I'm working my way up, I'm still controlling and holding, and eventually make my way up, get my hook in, seat belt, work for back control, and then start working for control. Another way that I can do that also is just by being here, and if I get him on this side and control here, I don't necessarily have to go up. I can slide out, take here, use these, slide him out, and then bring him this way. Control. All right, standard rear naked choke, of course, is blocking off blood flow to the brain, carotid arteries, blocking the left and the right side. So on a rear naked choke, you see that the bend of the elbow is where the Adam's apple goes, that we have the bicep on one side, and you have the radius on the other side. Closing that, still no space. Notice how close I am to him. And tight, no space, all pressure. Bringing this hand here, grabbing and still closing this distance as much as I can. Taking this hand, sliding behind the head, and then flipping. All right, this is what we call a leg hook takedown. This is from coming into a hip clinch, coming in close here, I'm controlling around the hip. What I do is I drive forward, he steps, and then I hook the leg. All right, a few different variations of the scissor sweep. Gi version, of course, is from close guard, sleeve, cross-collar grip, getting on the side, bringing this up, bringing the weight above the belt, not below the belt, and then of course scissoring and controlling over. Okay, another variation of that you can do with no gi. Alright, a self-defense style that you could do for a scissor sweep again. So you can see the angle of which I'm sweeping here. You can do the two things. You can either grab the head in an no-gi situation as well and bring the head this way. And sweeping, I like to do the same thing except add a little bit of pilates to it. From here, comb, controlling.
Part of the requirement on there as well is being able to hold in the guard. And while I'm in Jake's guard, Jake already does a good job of holding people in his guard, his closed guard, so he's going to demonstrate that. Holding the closed guard is basically him just squeezing and holding and using the pressure here to keep me at bay and controlling me with his hips as well. Like when I want to come in, he can push out. And when I push in, he can suck me back in and help change positions and whatnot. And of course, him trying to hold it, okay? So now we go to the breaking of the guard. Once I'm inside his guard here, I'm going to take my hands and control at his hips, drive it to the ground. You see how I'm kind of fisting down, and I'm driving with my weight with my arms straight so that he can't come out. To ensure that as well, I put my right leg, or this inside leg, in the crack of his butt. And then what I do to break. Okay? Right there. Now, if it's still too tight, because he's very strong, you do the same movement at the elbows. Okay, anaconda choke, basically a head and arm choke, which you do from kind of the north-south position or bullfighting position. Basically what's happening is you're taking the head here, using a little bit of chest pressure to help bring his head down, and then I'm grabbing the arm and pushing it in to get to his neck. Once I get this, I'm going to grab my arm this way, roll, and then start walking until I get out. Alright, this is a cross-collar choke from guard. As you can see, what I'm taking first is I'm going to open up the lapel so that I can get my cross-collar grip as deep as possible. And coming this way here. See how the pressure is already adding by me going deep. Then I'm going to use my hip pinching, like my knee pinching, to bring myself this way. And then I'm going to grab as deep as I can, coming under this wrist. Then I'm going to make sure I come under the chin, bring it all together. All right, cross-collar choke from the top. You're in mount position. Again, holding up open the lapel to get his hand deep. You want to get it to where this part is behind his neck. That's how deep you want to be. So that when you're getting for the other one, you're almost trying to touch thumbs. Same thing, I'm going to pressure it this way, kind of get this angle this way. Come in, come out, and all right, this is a basic arm drag. An arm drag is when you're doing exactly what it says, is dragging the arm and using it to get behind the opponent. So the first thing I do is as we're squaring up and we're kind of moving around, I'm going to grab first the wrist, pulling the wrist, going for the back, the tricep, pulling here to here, coming around. Okay, I do a little bit faster. All right, arm bar from closed guard here. As soon as the opponent starts getting his arms this way and grabbing, controlling here. My foot is inside the hip with my leg right up against the side of his body, right up against it, no space right there. This right here is up, and this is what's making me turn. Okay? Now, again, up.
All right, this is what we call like the tomahawk sweep. Some call it the helicopter sweep. And usually I at least have, only times I've done it is from a failed armbar attempt. So that's when I've come here and it got to this point and he starts fighting it already and I can't get through. So what I do is I hook the leg here, take this leg here, and this way. All right, this is an elbow escape from the mount. And this is kind of where we're kind of fighting and he's coming back up, like I'm able to push him back up, and then he's pushing down. But I really need him to stop getting further up, because that's when arm bars and S-mounts and things like that start happening. So the elbow escape, what I'm doing here is I'm taking my hand here, see how my arm is across his front, and I'm putting it here. So as he starts coming more forward, see how I'm stopping him, and I'm able to keep some space here. Even if he was to have his knee down, as he's trying to mount, I'm keeping this up. That's allowing me to get some space in to where I do the next step, which is come here, hook this leg, and now I'm in half guard. So I can either work from deep half or continue up here. But the point is, I'm out of the mount. Side control for catch wrestlers and MMA guys, just a beautiful position. One of the reasons why is because you're in arm attacking mode. This arm is available for key locks. This one, depending on where he goes, is available for arm lock. But also what's available is this right here. So this area could be elbowed, punched, it could be grinded, But what also happens is that this is a good rest period. This is a good rest spot. So as we're coming under the head, a basic kind of old school way of controlling is basically to come under the neck, an underhook, bringing the gable grip in and pulling in, and then of course bringing it tight in here. Now I'm going to need to add pressure as the game starts moving and he starts trying to get his knee to his elbow and trying to escape. So I'm going to close that gap by bringing in my hip this way. And I can also come and switch and bring my weight this way. Bring my hips, but it's basically just an adjustment of hips. But the reason why side is so good is because from side is near the belly. Side control escape. Side control sucks when you're under a huge koala bear. Okay? Now, first thing I do when somebody gets in side control, of course, or gets in side control, is putting your leg up like this and just having the knee block. And that just stops him, or at least slows down the process of him getting that knee in the belly and trying to mount. But my goal is here, because this is probably going to be super tight, is I want to get my arm inside and I want to get my knee to this elbow under him. Okay? So I do that by sliding my elbow in and pushing and then bringing my knee to my elbow, which Professor Ruiz refers to as magnets, bring the magnets together. Once the magnets are together, I now have a knee shield, which also stops him from furthering his pass. Now to get out of here, all I'm trying to do is recover guard. This right here is tight. So what I do is I bring this foot, put it here, my hand is here, and I push, and then I really establish guard. All right, this is called cross-face takedown. It's done super fast, can be a throw as well. Works with an overhook, as we're kind of attempting to, hand fighting this way. What I do is I get the overhook in this way. I step behind. I don't want to go way back here because now I'm off balance. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to step right outside the foot. Once I come here, I throw this arm up, not across his neck, but up to where I'm going to his face. Watch what happens to his head. You saw that? If I come this way, he can bend his neck forward, and he's got a big neck, and stop it. So what I do is I come up across the face, and what I do is I pull with this arm, go over with this arm, and just basically turn to the left. Bend my knee. All right, we have what we call stack pass, and there's actually two variations of this. First variation, actually, we showed you, of course, how we break out of the guard, controlling of the hip, and in the inside.
So once we're here, the first stack pass we can do is I bring the arm in, still keeping my elbow inside, not trying to bring the hand this way, going from my elbow, coming up, putting pressure so that it's against my shoulder. As I step up with the right leg, popping it on my shoulder. Going for the shoulder here, bracing myself here, smashing, walk, 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 slide. And all right, this is another stack. People call things different names. This is another stack because you're doing exactly what it says if you're stacking the person. Jake's kind of a big guy too, so it's going to take a little bit of more technique to get him up. But again, off of the basic break that we kind of showed here. But what I'm doing here is now I'm coming up and I'm coming like this. Don't worry about it coming up. I'm using my shoulders and I'm pitching hard enough here to where even if he closes, it's not going to do nothing. He doesn't have any arm. Okay, so I'm going to come here. I'm going to pull him and get him onto my lap. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up, stack, driving the knee to his face. And then same thing. All right, double leg takedown, also known as how to take down the koala bear. Okay, double leg takedown, what I'm doing is I'm shooting in between his legs and I'm going towards my, to drive my knee to the floor. So you do this in kind of steps. So first step is I'm going here to where my knee is sticking out. Second step is while I'm controlling, I'm dropping to this knee and driving forward. Then I'm grabbing this and coming down. All right, two variations of a single leg takedown. Single leg always shot in with the head coming in. Reason why is if I shoot here, coming this way, is that I'm probably gonna get caught here. Okay, so first variation that we do is I'm coming in, shooting, and I'm picking up the leg like so. And as you can see, I picked it up with my arm this way, like the bend of my arm. This leg, I'm bringing up. My shoulder goes above the knee. My hand locks the foot here. I hold the heel, and then I pressure down. In, so up. Now, as you see, we're going slow on this because this one is a self-defense move, and I'm actually applying a pressure to the knee. So if it pops, then no need to take down. Okay? The other variation of doing that is being in the same position, but a lot of guys will come and they'll just grab here. So when you grab here, you just hug your torso, you just kind of get down and drive him down. All right, Ezekiel choke with the sleeves from the top. Here's one of my favorites here. So as I'm using my mount control and riding, of course, I'll make my way under this way and kind of hold on right here, just so I can hold on. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the sleeve here. Sometimes it's better to grab with your thumb, you can kind of feel it, but sometimes it's better to grab here. We'll do it with our thumb for this purpose. Notice I'm here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this over, come under, grab this side, and all right. Ezekiel choke from behind. Me, I like to, especially when I'm working the back, I like to initially get a collar grab here. That way I can work for bow and arrow, I can work for various chokes, especially an Ezekiel choke. Now what happens when I come here and I'm cruising out, I'm demonstrating this sitting up. We can also do this with me in the hook sit and laying down. But just for visual, I'm going to do it up here. So from here, you'll see that I'm controlling, and then once I can get this hand up this way to where I can grab the sleeve. See how I grab the sleeve right there? Okay, I'm going to grab the sleeve, and then from here, drag across, and then grab this side. And then pull my hands together, pull my arms together, and make tight. Double ankle sweep is basically simple. It's kind of when your opponent is kind of being able to pop
in and out of your guard, and you end up kind of having he's in open guard because he's past your knees already, but he's doing a lot of pressure over here, and you can actually grab his ankles. It's just grabbing the ankles and extending the body out. And as you're coming up, grab the collar, work your way up, however you're going to work your way up, or maybe stay down like what I do. I'll do the ankle sweep, double ankle sweep here, take down, control, I'll come up, I'll grab leg, and I'll work heel hook.